To another episode of the Great Black Speakers Podcast, where we connect through conversation. I am your host, Lawrence Watkins. I am the founder and CEO of Great Black Speakers Bureau. I'm also the president and chief operating officer of the Black Business School. So today we have a very special guest. I'm excited to interview Ms. Tai Goodwin. And Tai is the CEO of the Momentum Agency. And they are a content marketing and content creation firm for entrepreneurs who don't have time for marketing. Her website is profitmomentum.com. That is profitmomentum.com as well. So Tai, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic, and I have been looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah. So we've met through a mutual friend in Lamar Tyler. And in terms of, one of the groups that, we're both a part of. And I just want to know more about you in terms of what you currently do and how you've gotten to this point in your career.
Well, it's been a journey. I started out as a school teacher doing AmeriCorps, moved into the dark side of corporate training, and have found myself wanting to be an entrepreneur. And I never thought that's where I would end up. But I love every minute of what we're doing right now, which is helping our clients create online quizzes for their business to generate leads, to segment their audience, and really setting up online funnels so that they can make more money. We like to say we help them profit more and work less.
Got you. Well, how did all this start in terms of you getting into content creation and writing and funnels and all these words that a lot of people may not know about? So how did you really start getting involved with this?
Well, you know what? I started when my daughter was born. I did not want to go back to work. I wanted to be home with her. And so I had this crazy idea, why don't I just start a business, right? Like it was going to be that easy to do. And it was back when, websites and all that was just really kind of getting more popular. And so I started, but I wasn't able to really launch my business full time. So I ended up being what I call an employedpreneur. I was an employed entrepreneur. I had a side hustle. And through that side hustle, I had to learn how to market. I was a single mom. I didn't have the luxury of going out to networking events. And I was working from home for the company that I was working for, but that even made me more closed in. And so I had to leverage social media. And I started getting on Facebook. I started using LinkedIn. I started using Twitter. And I used those platforms to really grow my audience. I had a podcast back in 2007, if you believe it. Right, way back then when people were still doing podcasts from their cars. And I used all of that technology to really build my business. And then my clients said, well, first they wanted me to teach them how to do it. And then they were like, well, can you do it for me? And so over the years, we've just taken all the knowledge and skills and expertise, and we've done it for our clients now instead of just teaching people how to do it.
All right, so I'm writing a whole bunch of questions down as you're speaking, but so you're a single mother, going through this. Mm-hmm. Tell me how you were feeling when you had this full-time job, you had this side hustle, you had this daughter. What did that look like? What did your life look like when you were going through all this?
At the time, I was just on the grind. I was hustling. I was really talented at work. I had a lot of skills. I had a lot of expertise and knowledge, but I really wasn't excited about who I was doing it for. I did not like working in corporate America. And I knew that I wanted more freedom and flexibility. I also didn't like that having a day job. They told me when I could take a vacation. They told me how much money I could make. They told me, which ideas I could do and I could not do. And I didn't like that very much. And I figured out there had to be a different way of doing things. And so that was the impetus. The other thing that I'm really big on, having been a teacher, one of the things that I've hated is being a hypocrite and saying to kids, go to school, go to college, and then get a job. And then everybody who says that comes home from their job and they hate it. Right? It's like, we're setting them up for failure. And so I really did not want to model what to settle for my daughter. I wanted to model what was possible.
Got you. So what did it look like in terms of that transition from being a side hustle entrepreneur to becoming a full-time entrepreneur? What did that look like?
It took years. It took a long time. And it took a long time for a few reasons. But the most pressing reason was that I did not know how to be an entrepreneur. I knew how to do the stuff, right? And a lot of folks are like that. We're experts at what we do. If you spent time in corporate America, you've got years of experience and expertise. And so we know how to do the thing that we do, but what we don't know is how to be an entrepreneur, how to think differently about our pricing, how to really, understand how marketing works and how sales works. And, I see so many people say, well, I don't like marketing, but marketing is the lifeblood of your business. All right. So you have to learn to become a better marketer, be better at sales if you're going to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't know those things. So it took a really long time for me to understand that. It took a lot of mindset work, undercharging, overworking, just like we were taught to do in corporate America, right? We're taught that. And if we don't learn to shift that as an entrepreneur, we will never be in a place where we're making money. From a sustainable way to do it.
Yeah, so no, that's interesting that you talk about that, and you're talking about your grind a little earlier in the conversation in terms of you always being on your grind. You didn't really think about how you were feeling at that particular time. You just know you didn't like corporate America. Yeah. So you've been in the game since 2007, you said, is that right?
And probably before that, I started online with Facebook and Twitter, but way before that, when my daughter was born in 2002, I was doing desktop publishing and virtual assistant work for folks.
Got you. So you've been just in that space for, quite a while. Mm-hmm. So over the last, call it 13 to 18 years or so, how has your grind changed since it was back in the early days?
Well, next week we are going to Florida just because I feel like it. Right. And I share that to say, I've spent so much time being tied to a desk and, people telling me when I could take off and all that. My daughter is homeschooled now. I've got a laptop and I can work wherever my laptop is. So next week, I'm going to Florida to spend some time with my parents just because we can. I don't want to be in the cold, so I want to go somewhere where it's warm and I'm going to be doing my work. My daughter's going to be doing school. And I share that to say, this is the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted to have that flexibility. I wanted to be able to work where I want, to earn what I want. And so that's the change now. Am I still hustling? Do I still have my, my schedule and things that I do? Absolutely. But I don't start my day before 10 o'clock in the morning. I take naps in the afternoons when I want to. I have a day that's set aside. I've built the life that I want and a life that I'm really proud to share with my daughter and say, you can do it too.
Got you. So you keep mentioning your daughter as well. So, what has she meant in this process, or how has she helped you along in regards from getting to the point you were back in 2002 to where you are in 2020?
Well, besides being a motivator, I hired her. Last year, she was 16 and we were like, well, you have to get a job. She's an introvert like me. And I'm like, well, the reality is she doesn't necessarily need to go work at a place like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. I hired her to do social media for me. And she's into graphic design and video game design. And so she was the person creating my social media posts all summer long. And so she's inspired me, but she's also really helped me see the value of what it's like when you train someone up and give them visions of what they can become.
Got you. You mentioned social media a few times in this interview in terms of, you get started before social media and in terms of what you're doing now. So I asked you how your grind changed since the beginning, but let me also ask you, how have you seen the marketplace shift since, let's call it 2007 or so? Like, what has changed from what it used to be before to what it is currently in 2020?
Wow. A lot more people are using social media for marketing. Back in the day when people were just getting started on Facebook, people say, I don't like, people that market to me on Facebook. And now everybody is marketing on Facebook. Another big change has been the fee to market on Facebook. And even on any of the other platforms, when I got started, everything was free. Facebook pages, were just like amazing because you could do so much. And now that they've decided to monetize that, I've seen people get really frustrated and say, oh, well, I hate this. But it's always been that way in business. You've always had to pay for advertising and marketing. Now you can do the organic stuff. It's going to take you a little bit longer in most cases. But people have to recognize that marketing is business. Facebook is a business. And that huge change from going from everything is free, just get on social media, to now you have to pay to make social media play for you, has been one of the biggest changes. And I see a lot of people getting left behind because they're not willing to make that investment.
Got you. And I want to go in deeper into that discussion in regards to, how can one thrive on social media, and not just social media, it's just this internet enabled environment, for the future. And I want to talk about content, quizzes, all these different types of things that you talk about on a regular basis. But before I do, just want to remind anyone who is just tuning in, I'm here with Tai Goodwin. Tai is the CEO of the Momentum Agency. They are a content marketing and content creation firm for entrepreneurs who don't have time for marketing. And today we're talking about how to make your brilliance bankable. And a big piece of that is with content. And that's what we're going to get into here in a second. So if you guys haven't done so yet, please go ahead and press the thumbs up button on YouTube. Please show us some love so that YouTube's algorithm can show us some love as well. And we can get more and more people watching and seeing this awesome content that Tai is co-creating with the Black Business School today. All right, so Tai, let's talk more about in terms of people out there who want to make their brilliance bankable. So you've talked about the problem in your own life in regards to working in corporate and what that was, what that meant for you. Let's now talk about how people aren't maximizing their brilliance. And what do you mean by, making your brilliance bankable? So can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I'll share a quick story that I think illustrates this point. When I was going through coaching school, way back when I first started, and one of the things I decided I wanted to do was coaching. I had a peer come to me and say, let's take this course with Michael Port. And Michael Port, he does, what is it called? The red velvet rope or something like that he does. But he's a great guy, right? For what he does now. He does like hero public speaking, that kind of stuff. But what the challenge was, that the course that we took with him, it wasn't really a good course for me, but it taught me something. And here's what it taught me. So the course was, about teaching people how to create an online course. Now, my friend said, let's take this course, Michael Port, great. So we took it. We paid about, I think, between $1,300 and $1,700 to take this course. There were hundreds of people in this course. So do the math, right? The second week of the course, I was so mad because, Lawrence, it was everything that I had done in grad school around creating an online course. I have a master's degree in instructional design for online learning. Here was this guy who was teaching this stuff, and it wasn't really, really well done, but he had all these people that had paid him this money. And I said, I'm selling myself short. Because I had all this knowledge and expertise, but I wasn't really aware of the value of what I had, and I wasn't making it bankable. And a lot of folks are like that. We've got this experience that we've gathered in corporate America, or even things that we've just done as always a hobby, right? We've always done it. We know how to do it. We're interested in it. And we have a tendency to think that, well, everybody knows how to do that. And it's not true. They don't know how to do it. And they definitely probably don't know how to do it as well as you. And that's an opportunity to take that and monetize it. That's what I call your brilliance, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise. That's your brilliance. Now, how do you take it and make it bankable? Consulting, online courses, teaching, speaking, books. There are people who will pay not just for the knowledge, because you can get that information anywhere, but they're going to pay for the transformation that you help them get when you figure out how to make your brilliance bankable.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. And, people who are just tuning in, we have a Black Experts Empire webinar coming up in a couple of weeks. We don't have the date quite nailed down yet, but we're going to be talking about a lot of this, same type of stuff as well then. And that's why I'm so happy to have Tai here today to really, drop this knowledge in regards to, making your brilliance and your knowledge bankable. Mm-hmm. And I want you to talk about that a little bit more, though, is in terms of, what is holding people back? So what was holding you back, from selling that knowledge yourself? You have this master's degree in, institutional or instructional design, that type of stuff. Yeah. Like, what are the main common reasons that you see that are holding people back from actually taking that leap in terms of making their brilliance bankable?
Well, number one is I undervalue. And part of that is being in corporate where, we do this and we do it for whatever they pay us for. And so we don't always realize that there is so much value for that outside of that corporate job. So a lot of people, I see them when they come into this, they say they want to start a business, or even if they want to speak, they undercharge because they don't realize the value of what they have to offer. The second thing, and this is huge, and it's kind of why I got into the work that I'm doing now, is that a lot of us don't understand distribution. We've got brilliance, we've got knowledge, expertise. Some people even have products and books and programs and speaking packages, but they don't know how to get it in front of the right people. So you have a distribution problem. And, social media is great, but one of the problems with that is that we tend to think that the only people that we have access to are the people that kind of like us and follow us. And 9 times out of 10, they are not the people that are willing and able to pay you for your expertise. So when we teach folks about building a business, we teach them the 3 things that you've got to have. You take your knowledge, your expertise, you find a problem that you can solve. And the third thing is that you have to find people who are willing and able to pay you to solve their problem. So then it becomes, how do you get in front of the right people? Not just the people who like you, not just the people who pat you on the back and say, oh, that's a brilliant idea, but the people that are willing and able to pay you. And that's what was holding me back for so long. I say all the time, I was Facebook rich and profit poor, right? People would share my stuff on Facebook. They would like me on LinkedIn, but I didn't have any sales. And it was because I was talking to the wrong people. I had a distribution model that was broken. And so I had to learn how to get in front of the right people. And the best way we did that was with content. And you talked about, different content, but the content marketing, our online quiz. Last year, we had amazing success with that quiz. We grew our email list from 1,700 people to 12,000 people in 4 months.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, but that's interesting, because I want to get your definition and clarify in regards to content.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned content in terms of, there's blog posts, that type of things, videos, what we're doing today, this is a piece of content. Mm-hmm. But then you also mentioned stuff like quizzes, in terms of quizzes being the thing that grew your email list, 10x in 4 months. Right. Mm-hmm. So how do you define content? And how do people choose what content path they should go down as they're growing their business?
That's a great question, because content encompasses so many things. We actually have a list of 52 different ways to turn your content into cash flow. And it covers everything, things that people don't think about. We talked about quizzes and assessments, but puzzles, coloring books, infographics. There's so many different ways to do it. How you choose the right content for your audience is you have to think about what result you want them to get and the best format to give it to them in. If you are visual and you love infographics and video, go for it. But you've also got people who just like words. That's for us who like Twitter, right? Twitter's for people who like words. We don't always need to see images. And then you've got audio. Like, some people will never listen to a podcast because they're not auditory. Right. So it really takes you knowing your audience. And this goes back to that knowing who's willing and able to pay you. You don't have to know where they are, but who are they? Do they like digital downloads? Do they hate video? And so knowing your audience is what helps you figure out what kind of content to create.
Got you. So you've talked deeply about quizzes, and we talked beforehand. The only person else in this space that I know who really focuses on quizzes is a guy named Ryan Levesque. I'm a big follower of Ryan. I have all his books and a few other things too. And I cannot wait to start doing business with you, Tai, just to let you know, on a more deeper level. Can you talk about, I guess, the quizzes more specifically in terms of why that's a good way to I guess that's a good format to produce content and to, connect with your audience?
Absolutely. And, I'm going to share this story too, because I think it actually exemplifies what a lot of experts don't realize. So I'm going to jump to quizzes, but I'm going to start with online courses. So we talked about my master's degree in instructional design for online learning. I've been creating online courses for companies like, Barnes & Noble since like 2006. And I wasn't getting a lot of traction because I actually tried to do that in the marketplace and I wasn't getting traction. I didn't understand distribution. Like I said, I've learned that lesson now. And it pains me when I think about if I had just stuck with it, knowing what has happened with online courses, where things would be. So now we come into the space with online quizzes. I actually created my first quiz back in 2013, 2014. And it was a paper-based quiz. And I did it because I was working with entrepreneurs and they were starting the wrong kinds of businesses. Like, for example, somebody who wanted to be a speaker, people would tell them, well, you need to be a coach. And they would hate it because they don't need to be coaching one-on-one. They need to be on a stage. They need to be writing books. And so I created a quiz around what type of entrepreneur are you. Actually, it was called, what's your bankable brilliance archetype is what it was. And so I was at Lead Pages for a few years working in there. And when I was there, I designed their training program using all the stuff that I did in my day job, right? And when I left, I had to rebuild my email list. I knew that that checklist that I had created as in a form of a paper-based quiz worked. I just needed to get it in front of more people. So I put it into an online format. And within the first 2 weeks, I had 500 people that re-upped into my email list after not talking to them for 2 years. So I knew I was on to something. I just need to get it in front of more people. Right. And so the quiz was perfect because it does a couple of things really, really well. Now, typically when people opt into your email list, like you see something on a site and they'll give you a download, right? But if you're the entrepreneur, all you get is a stinking email address. It's like, okay, that's great. The beauty of a quiz is that you actually get insight into where people are because they're answering questions about themselves. So we're a little bit narcissistic. Right? We like to know about us. Like, how many people took that quiz? What kind of Harry Potter character are you? Or,
right.
Where should you live? Like, we like that. And when you ask people the right questions as an entrepreneur, you get insight about their behaviors that you can now take and market to them. You can create better content. And it's very different than a survey. I want to make this really clear. Because people say, well, I created a survey. No, surveys don't really tell me anything about myself. Like, you're asking me stuff I already know. Yeah, I know where I live. I know how old I am. But when you ask me a question about a quiz, for example, one of our questions, when we say, well, what do you know when it comes to your ideal audience? And we've got 4 options. Do you not need an ideal audience? Do you know who your audience is? Do you know who they are, but you can't find them? Or do you know where they are and where to find them? Each one of those answers tells me something very different about that person. For example, if somebody says, I don't need an ideal audience, I immediately know they're not a good fit for me because they don't understand about having a target audience to speak to. So knowing that, I can now send content to educate them about why you need to know your ideal audience. But before, if all I have is an email list, if all I have is their email address, I don't know. I don't know any of that. So imagine having a quiz with 6 or 7 questions like that, that gives you that kind of insight about your audience. It's brilliant what you can do when it comes to marketing and then creating programs that people really need.
Right. And, we do a lot of surveys and we want to start doing more quizzes based off the answers that we got from a lot of our surveys in terms of the different type of archetypes, of people, our customers that, do business with the Black Business School. And, this is just a reminder, even to me, in regards to what we need to do in terms of next steps of our business as well. And, as an extension of what we just talked about, I want to get back to this concept of like money, investing, and distribution, right? Talk about, I guess you talked about the importance already, but like the resistance that people have in terms of like spending money for paid ads. Sometimes, paying for advertising has negative connotation. Talk about that as it relates to scaling up and, growing your email list or doing whatever to, increase the size of your business. So one day, hopefully you can become, fully financially independent.
Yeah, a lot of people do have resistance to that. And, I practice what I teach and what I preach. And I'll, give you an example from my own stuff. I'll tell on myself. I'll say the very first time that I spent like real money on Facebook ads, I got really scared. I spent $500 over 2 weeks and I closed it down. So like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of money. And my coach said, why did you shut it down? I said, because I spent $500. All right. I was like, I don't want to do that. And then he asked me a simple question. He said, yeah, but how much money did you make? I said, oh. And we do a webinar and I talk about these numbers, but that 2 weeks that I spent that $500, we had 10 people book sales calls. We booked 2 clients and we booked $8,500 worth of business. So do the math. I spent $500, but I made $8,500. Fast forward over a period of 3 months, we ended up spending $1,800 in ads. We had about 67 people that booked sales calls. We didn't take all of them. Some of them weren't ready for our one-on-one stuff. They bought other things. But at the end of those 3 months, we booked $31,000 in business. So I could either keep playing small. I'm not going to do ads. I'm not going to do ads. And I'm going to keep trying to sell these $97 products. Or I could take a look at what the numbers are proving to me. $1,800 made me $31,000. Oh, I'd rather have that equation happening. And, I hear people say all the time, well, I don't want to pay Facebook and they just want to get your money. But here's the deal. Facebook has a vested interest in you making money. If you don't know how to do Facebook ads and you are not making any money, what are you going to do? I'm not doing that again. But if you know how to use the system right and Facebook is making you money, what are you going to do? You're going to invest more money in Facebook. And so they have a vested interest. Facebook has an extensive library of materials that they will help you. When you get to a certain standpoint, they will start calling you. Hey, schedule an appointment, because they know that the more money you make, the more likely you are to invest in them. So they have a vested interest in that. So that resistance comes from us thinking sometimes that everything is free. So can I get real here, Lawrence?
Please do.
So my brother is a Grammy-nominated Christian rapper. So already, like the cross movement, he's in that group. And we always have this conversation because in the church, right, we get honored when somebody does something for us for free. I'm going to be a blessing to you, right? Or, oh, somebody invited me to speak. We get used to that. But the reality of it is, in the business world where people are making money, people pay for marketing. They ask to be parts of certain things, right? They market themselves. They show up and invest. And if you take a look at it, when you look at a lot of churches and their model that's kind of been ingrained in a lot of us, those churches aren't making a lot of money. Every week they're begging and borrowing, and then when you look at the business world, now here's where I come from. Why can't we find an equal happy medium? Why can't we, take the desire to serve, the desire to be of service, but when I take a look at the definition of service, it does not mean that you treat me badly and I do everything for free. It means I be of use, right? So why can't we take that same mindset and spirit of, yes, I'm going to serve, and I have a strategy to monetize this from an entrepreneurial mindset and find a happy medium. So we've got to let go of this. Everything has to be for free and it has to be cheap and it has to be, listen, there's another way that you can build your business that doesn't require you to always be needing to be rescued financially, that doesn't always require for you to beg for somebody to look at you. There's a whole different way. We just have to be open to it.
Love it. That's some powerful stuff, everybody. So if you guys aren't paying attention to what Tai is talking about today, please take notes because she is dropping some true gems on today's call. So just as a reminder for people who may just be tuning in, I'm here with Tai Goodwin. Tai is the CEO of the Momentum Agency, which is a content marketing and content creation firm for entrepreneurs who don't have time for marketing. And today we're talking all about how to make your brilliance bankable. Please check out Tai at profitmomentum.com. That is Profit Momentum, momentum.com, as well, to learn more about her and what she has to offer. And also, please make sure you press the thumbs up button. Actually, on the count of 3, if you guys can all press the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and press the thumbs up button. Show some love. We really appreciate you. All right, Tai. So in this last segment, I want to talk more about Profit Momentum, actually, and what you guys do. And please share your contact information, all those different types of things with the audience.
Oh, well, thank you. Absolutely. So like you said, we're content marketing and content creation because we really found out that a lot of our clients that we love to work with, they're experts at what they do. They're brilliant at it, but it goes back to that distribution problem. How can I get my content and offers in front of more people? And like we geek out about like marketing tech, like quiz technology and all that kind of stuff. They could not care less for the most part. They just want to do the thing that they love doing. They want to do the thing that brings them money. And so they partner with us to take care of all that messy tech back and stuff that we geek out about. And a lot of what we're doing right now is we're creating opt-in quizzes for folks. So remember back in the day when webinars were like the brand new thing and everybody was trying to get a webinar? Well, that's where opt-in quizzes are for a lot of us right now. Not everybody has it. Not everybody knows how to use it, how to build it. And so we are building opt-in funnels for people. And that funnel is, not just the quiz and the framework, but even the follow-up emails, because there's a whole sequence that needs to be put in place. And we're just having a ball. We're doing it for doctors. One of our clients is an ophthalmologist, and she's launching an eyelash line. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Quiz for her about what kind of lash maven are you, right? So this works well for e-commerce brands as well, because e-commerce brands, you need lots of people coming into your pipeline so you can sell more and more of your products. And we're having a ball doing that. So profitmomentum.com is where you can find us. On Facebook, we actually have a group called List Building and Lead Generation. And that's what we talk about, is how to build lists, how to do lead generation, how to put it on autopilot so you don't have to spend all of your time doing it. And then you can always just Tai Goodwin, Google me, find me out there, and you'll see some of the content, the videos, but everything we do is all about helping our clients profit more and work less. We always say if we wanted to work a dead-end job, we would have stayed in corporate America. So the last thing we want to do is build a dead-end business, right? Where, we're, not having the time with our family, we're not enjoying things. No, there's a way for you to profit more and work less in marketing automation. When you have good content and when you have good content marketing automation will help you do that.
Wonderful. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you do?
Sure. They can send me an email at tai@profitmomentum.com, or, Tai Goodwin on Facebook. You can find me there and message me there as well.
All right. And my last question is, what is your best piece of advice for aspiring entrepreneurs out there or people who are just getting started in terms of making this whole entrepreneurship thing successful, especially if they're doing something with their mind in terms of, trying to, bank their brilliance?
Yes. Gosh, there's so many things that flow through my mind. Probably the best thing I can say is learn how to market and sell, because you can be brilliant. You can have the best content. You can be the best speaker. But if you don't understand how to market and sell, and marketing is about positioning yourself. If you don't understand how to position yourself in the marketplace as an expert or as an authority, you're going to watch other people who are not as bright as you, who are not as brilliant as you. They're going to be getting all the opportunities because you haven't figured out how to position yourself and how to ask. If I can share one last quick story. A long time ago, I wanted to write for the Huffington Post. And I was trying to submit stuff and it would never work. And I was just like, oh. And one of my clients actually got to write for the Huffington Post. Okay, at first I was a little salty. Like, really? Really? She's my client and I can't, but she can? And you know what I had to do? I said to take a step back. A closed mouth does not get fed. Or let me say it in how we say, a closed mouth don't get fed, right?
Yep.
And I had to open up my mouth and ask. Now, I could have stayed salty and still not been on the Huffington Post, but I asked her, I said, how did you get to write for the Huffington Post? Do you mind telling me? She said, I met Ariana Huffington at some event, blah, blah, blah. Do you want me to introduce you? Yes. 2 weeks later, I was writing for the Huffington Post. So if you've got expertise and knowledge, but you're not asking for the opportunities and the connections that you need, you are going to miss out. And you will watch everybody else around you, because sometimes we have that mindset that I have to wait to be asked. Don't. Step up and ask for those opportunities that you want and go with it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tai, this has been such a blessing and a pleasure to speak with you today. So please make sure you check out Tai at profitmomentum.com. What is your email address one more time for people out there?
Tai, and that's TAI, Tai at profitmomentum.com.
Yeah, so Tai at profitmomentum.com as well. If you guys like today's interview with Tai Goodwin, who is the CEO of the Momentum Agency, please make sure that you press the thumbs up button and show us some love. I would also like to thank our corporate sponsor, the Black Business School, which I am, of course, affiliated with. And at the Black Business School, we don't just teach you how to climb the corporate ladder, we teach you how to build your own as well. So what we do is help African Americans obtain a culturally relevant yet practical education in all things wealth building at an affordable price. People come to us for one of three reasons. They either want additional freedom in their life to do what Tai did, to spend more time with their family, or to travel, or to just take naps in the middle of the day, which me and Boyce like to do as well. They either want to leave a legacy behind to their families and their communities, or they just want additional stability and security going into their golden years of retirement as well. We focus our courses on three main pillars of wealth creation, which are entrepreneurship, stock market investing, and real estate as well. And of course, today's conversation really falls into the entrepreneurship category in terms of banking on your brilliance, how to use your intellectual property to make money, that type of thing. But please make sure that you check us out at theblackbusinessschool.com. That is theblackbusinessschool.com if you would like to learn more. And we also have a special event that we don't have the date nailed down yet, but we're actually about to intake for our next iteration of the Black Experts Empire program. With Black Experts Empire, we help you to transform your knowledge into purpose, power, and profits. So we help you to leverage your experience and expertise to create a stable, consistent, and significant source of income for the future. So be on the lookout for that as well. It's coming very, very soon. So on behalf of Tai Goodwin, my name is Lawrence Watkins. I am the founder and CEO of Great Black Speakers Bureau. I'm also the president and chief operating officer of the Black Business School. You guys take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.